Welcome back to another episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. On this episode, Howard comes out from behind the scenes, mostly, to start building his very own rig. We're starting with what's left of an '86 Blazer we purchased for another project. Howard has an interesting plan for this one, so we'll be spending a lot of time removing brackets and reinforcing the frame. Since the Blazer body is not what we're going to be using on it, Chris and Howard worked together to get all the brackets that we're not going to need off of here. The majority of them anyway. We got all the body mounts off, got all the bump stop brackets off, all the shock tabs were, this thing wasn't in the greatest of condition when we got it, and I'm actually going to show you a couple more things that we're going to have to address in some way or another. So the plan is to put the Deuling design frame plates on here, on the front portion, and then we have the Offroad design frame repair kit for the steering. And that's pretty much it for reinforcing it. We're also going to be swapping out the suspension. We're going to be using the 52-inch springs up front. We got some 56-inch springs to go out back. We got a Dana 44, and then we have a 14 bolt that we're going to be putting in the rear. So the plan, while it's here right now, is to start prepping the frame, get all those reinforcement plates on, swap the suspension over, get the axles underneath it, and then we're going to address the engine, transmission, transfer case, all that good stuff, and then throw a body on it in the end. First is this interesting issue. Looks like somebody cut the frame rail off or had to replace the frame rail. And as you can see, it wasn't done very good. So when we bought this thing, we saw the transmission crossmember hanging down, and the factory crossmember has a little skid plate on it, and it was pointed straight at the ground. So I figured it was just unbolted. Well, it wasn't. Looks like they took a 1/4-inch piece of flat plate and did a really terrible job of sticking it on there. And then this side is the fun side. Oh yeah, it's nice. It's real nice. And it's cracked up to right here. So we'll drill that out, stop drill it, get all this folded back up, weld it together, and then when we box the frame, we'll add some more onto there. The shock mounts and the areas around them on these frames are prone to cracking, so it's common to see some repairs. But this is definitely my favorite so far. Unfortunately, we don't need it, so it's gotta go. Another point of weakness is the front shackle hangers. These have puny bushings that wear out quickly with off-road use. They're also prone to cracking when using longer shackles. Since we're using 52-inch springs with longer shackles and intend to use this quite a bit off-road, we opted to replace factory hangers for off-road design HD hangers and Kevlar bushings. These are very obviously built much stronger and include a large bushing. Alright, so we got the off-road design shackle flip brackets mounted up. Well, kind of, sort of. They're just temp installed. As you could see, with the way the spring is sitting right now, the shackle is way back here with the leaf spring mounted in the stock location. So the plan is we're going to cut the factory hanger off of the front and we're going to move it forward. I'm going to kind of follow along with how Dave did his Suburban just recently and see if it'll work. So I cut the front hanger bracket off. Moved it forward. I used the rear bracket upper hole on the front upper hole, just like Dave did, just to kind of get an idea of how it's going to work. So the brackets that he has on his Suburban are a little bit different than what these are, but I'm hoping I can still get away with doing the same thing. If not, I'll move them somewhere else. Those are in place. Shackle brackets are on and they're swapped sides, so the left side's on the right, right side's on the left. But it's still not far enough back. So I'm going to drill new holes 4 inches back, same way as if this was drilled for 56-inch springs. And then bolt the brackets back up. So
Blazer update. We took a guess at the spring widths. It's a little bit wider on the axle than on the Blazer. So Howard is gonna make some sparks and stuff, and we're gonna move those real quick.
So we got the axles ready to go underneath the frame. We have, for the front, a Dana 44 GM passenger drop. It's awesome. Picked up the axle from Mike over at Mike and Mac's Offroad Podcast. Yep, that's going to go under the front. We got a 14 bolt going in the rear. We got Howard and Chris just kind of hanging out, waiting for me to stop recording.
We're getting ready to go sledding.
I think you need to add seats to that list of things that you need to do. You can add axles, we need seats.
Yeah.
This frame rail thing is not.
We'll probably.
Not gonna work.
I got some cardboard. We can figure something out. Get some wood on there. All right, so we're gonna get these axles mounted. Make this thing a roller.
Now that all the main framework is done and axles are in place, it's time to get the frame back to Howard's place to get the powertrain situated and figure out what body he decides to use for it.